everyone, this is Herrick bringing you another episode of Action Figure This Out. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Hazmat Batman from the Virus story arc. Now, I picked this figure up along with the new Eternia Skeletor at my local comic book shop, Heroes Comics in Canada. I've been sitting on picking this figure up for a while, like quite a while, but then I saw that they had this figure on for a good deal. So I figured, yeah, let's check it out. Before we get started here, let's take a quick look at the packaging. So, on the front, you're going to see the figure through the window. Alright, he comes with no accessories aside from his stand and his card here. At the bottom it says DC Multiverse, and underneath that it says Batman Hazmat Suit. On the side, you're going to see where this figure comes from. It says Batman Hazmat Suit from Justice League, the Virus. On the back, you're going to see a picture of this action figure, some action figure photography, along with the other figures that come in this wave at the bottom of the box. On the side, it simply says Batman Hazmat Suit. And for anybody who needs it, here's the barcode at the bottom of the box. So perfect. Let's action figure this out and take a look at this figure out of the packaging. Alright, so before we get started, let's just take a quick look at the height of this figure. So, in inches, the Hazmat Batman stands at 7¼ inches, which roughly equates to something of around 18½ centimeters, little over 18 centimeters. After witnessing his parents' death at a young age, Bruce Wayne devoted his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against crime, Batman. To become the ultimate vigilante, the Dark Knight disciplined his mind and body to reach the pinnacle of mental and physical superiority. Batman has a plan for every occasion, as well as high-tech weapons, gadgets, and vehicles to assist him in the pursuit of justice. One such high-tech equipment is the Hazmat Batsuit. Built to protect him from a synthetic plague created by Lex Luthor and known as the Virus, if exposed to the virus, metahumans' powers will disappear, while normal humans will transform into mutated metahumans, but not if Batman can stop it. So right away, I'm just going to say that this figure looks absolutely badass. Initially, I didn't pick this figure up because I didn't really like the look, but since has grown on me. Like a lot. Plus, I read the comic where this figure is from, and I love it. This figure is great. Super detailed, and the sculpting is elite. Now, he doesn't come with any accessories, and doesn't have a light-up feature, but I still find this figure amazing. The gold label has some paint on the figure, along with a light-up chest feature. Now, when you take a look, you can see that the hoses for this figure are really soft and malleable. Alright? They look really cool. And they really don't get in the way of articulation, which is nice. You can move his head side to side. Okay. You can move his torso side to side. So those hoses aren't going to be getting in the way at all. You can twist them completely over and look, see the hose is still there. So that's really good. Along with their malleability, this is a really nice feature to have. Now his mask is really cool. I like how there's a normal Batman mask underneath the plastic here. So that's nice. He has kind of like a grin on it. Alright. Now if you look on his left gauntlet, you can see that there's buttons underneath the clear plastic as well. So that's a really decent touch. If you take a closer look. As you can see, there's some buttons underneath that. So that's a really nice touch. Now, this figure doesn't have a cape, but he still looks super badass without it. Alright? Instead, he has this oxygen tank or something that goes directly to his mask and suit. So you can see here, this is his oxygen tank. It's really nice, really nicely detailed and sculpted well. Alright? So for the gold label, this is where the batteries would be. So you'd push in here and then it would turn his chest light on. Alright? But since this isn't the gold label, this is just a regular oxygen tank. Now, the sculpting for this figure is super detailed. The shoulder pads are connected to the bottom at the bottom of the pauldron, so they don't get in the way when you move his arms up, which is a really nice addition. Now, I like how he has a bat emblem over the Biohazard logo on his chest. The bat emblem is light blue, so it kind of looks like it's lighting up. All right. His knee pads and shin guards are also pretty decent. Now, like I said before, his face shield looks really great. All right. Again, it has a nice clear plastic. You can see the usual Batman cowl under, and the tubes that go from his tank to his face and to his suit look really good. Now, I like how there's a piece on top of his chest piece right here that looks like it gives some cover over his mouth. Now, you see, as you can see here on his chest, it kind of covers his mouth a bit, so it gives him some extra protection. Now, the tank on his back, again, like I said, is really detailed. There's a clear piece of plastic here, and you can see the buttons underneath that. So that's really cool. All right. His tubes aren't painted like the gold label. The gold label, they have it painted silver, I believe, but it does match the color for the rest of his suit. Now, overall, this figure has elite sculpting and is super detailed, which is great. The figure is a great addition to my Batman shelf, and I'm really glad to have picked him up. A little late, but better than ever. You know, overall, this figure is super badass. I love the comic where this is from, the Amazo Virus, and I'm super glad to see that this figure was heavily discounted, so I got my hands on it. So, this is really decent. Alright, his shin guards and knee pads are really not really nice. Alright, he has some canisters over here on his thigh. Brown belt, you know, the usual Batman. He looks pretty badass, man. Alright. Now, there is some brown painted on his shoulders. If you look here, it's the strap going to his tank. You can see they painted it brown a little bit to accentuate the straps. And the tubes piece here that goes to the bottom of the tank kind of moves around. There's some give to it, and you can see that the oxygen tank is a little bit loose because it's meant, like I said in the gold label version, you click in and then it turns his chest light on. One thing I don't really like is how his bat emblem, you can see the edge here. The edges are cut off a bit. It's almost like the bat emblem is a little too high, and that kind of cuts off the outline of blue that they had going throughout this bat symbol. So, I was looking for other figures with a more straight bat symbol, but I couldn't really find it. So, I guess this is what I'm going to get. So, no biggie. He has ball joints, big ball joints in his wrist, which is kind of a bummer because I like when they're sculpted ball joints. The newer McFarlane figures have it. But this one has regular ball joints, so they kind of look like tennis balls. As you can see, same with this one. Alright. Again, he's really detailed. I'm loving this look for Batman. Super glad that I got it. Alright. So, now that we've taken a closer look at this figure, let's take a look at his articulation. Alright, so, in his neck and head, he has a dumbbell joint, which gives you the ability to look all the way up this much. So that's a decent amount. He can look all the way down, have his chin touch his chest. Alright, he can look side to side, 360. He can go quite a ways away. And you can see the tubes are only going to get in the way when you have them twisted like an owl like this. So that's not bad at all. Okay, the hoses don't get in the way. You can get them in all types of positions. And he has a decent amount of tilt, as you can see. That's a really good amount. So I'm loving that. Alright, in his shoulders, he has that cap, the rounded cap, or a butterfly joint, which gives you the ability to rotate around this much. Alright, you can get a decent amount. He has a hinge, which gives you the ability to go almost 90 degrees. Alright, he can go forward, he can go back, he can go all around. He's not hindered because he doesn't have a cape. Alright, he has a double jointed pinned elbow, which gives you the ability to go all the way up this far. Alright, and he has a ball joint in his wrist, which gives you the ability to hinge in like this, hinge out, and he can rotate 360 degrees. Alright, in his diaphragm, he has a cut with a ball peg, which you can't really get too much movement going around like this, but you can get him to rotate side to side, 360. Alright, you can get him to tilt side to side, so that's decent. He also has another ball peg at his waist, which gives you the ability to lean forward this much, which is not too much. You can lean back, a lot more back, as you can see. Alright, he can lean side to side, utilizing both of those ball pegs. So that's a really decent amount. And he can rotate 360 degrees. Alright, his hoses aren't going to get in the way because they're attached to his oxygen tank. And if you rotate it at the waist, it doesn't move the hoses. So that's a pretty decent addition. But with his hoses, and if you're twisting his diaphragm joint, you can get him almost all the way back before his hose gets in the way. So that's a really nice touch. I like how the hoses really don't hinder any articulation. Alright, for his hips, he has the patented McFarlane ratchet joints, as you can see. So utilizing both joints, he can get a full splits, which is amazing. Alright, you can get a complete full splits. Alright, he can kick forward this much, so that's a decent amount. He can kick back this much, that's also a really good amount. And he has a tad bit of rotation, as you can see. Alright, he has a double jointed pinned knee, which utilizes both joints. He can kick almost his back, he can kick the oxygen tank, so that's nice. Alright, his shin guard is a little bit loose, so it kind of rotates on me, but there's no articulation at the boot. Alright, and he has a ball joint in his ankle, which gives you the ability to kick back this far. He can kick up this far. Alright, he can rotate like... Alright, he can rotate. He's got a forward-facing peg for a rocker. And there, he has toe articulation as well. Alright, so aside from the ball joints, I'm loving all the articulation on this figure. Alright, I'm really glad to have finally picked this figure up. I've seen the gold label quite a bit, but I skipped on those. So I'm really glad to have actually have a Hazmat Batsuit in my collection. So now that we've taken a closer look at his articulation, let's see how he compares with other figures. Alright, so first we're going to take a look and see how the Hazmat Batsuit stands next to Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Batfleck, and the Robert Pattinson Batman from The Batman. Alright, next we have him standing next to the Detective Comics 1000 Batman and Batman designed by Todd McFarlane. And here we have him standing next to the Future State Batman and the Batman with battle damage designed by Greg Capullo. And here we have him standing next to the Owlman and Superwoman. And next we have him standing next to Shazam from Shazam Fury of the Gods and Black Adam from the Black Adam movie. And here we have him standing next to Deathstroke and the Tim Drake Robin. And here we have him standing next to a few Marvel Legends. We have the Marvel Legends Moon Knight that just got released and Moon Knight from the Moon Knight television show. Now we have him standing next to the Eradicator and the Page Puncher Superman. Alright, so we have him standing next to the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn and the Commando Spawn. Okay, so next we have him standing next to the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion and the McFarlane Mortal Kombat 11 Scorpion. Alright, so now we have the Hazmat Batman standing next to a few G.I. Joe classified figures. We have him standing next to the 02 Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow from Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. Alright, so here we have the Hazmat Batman standing next to a few G.I. Joe classifieds. We have the Red Ninja and the Crimson Bat. Alright, so next we have him standing next to a few Masters of the Universe, Masterverse figures. We have him standing next to the New Eternia He-Man and the New Eternia Skeletor. Okay, here we have him standing next to a few Marvel Legends again. We have the Retro Carded War Machine and the Retro Iron Man. So here we have him standing next to the Curse of the White Knight, Azrael, and the Murder Machine from Dark Knight's Metal. Alright, here we have the Hazmat Batman standing next to the McFarlane All Might and the McFarlane Endeavor from My Hero Academia. And now we have him standing next to Booster Gold by McFarlane and Blue Beetle. And now we have him standing next to the Retro Carded Daredevil and Bullseye from the Daredevil Man Without Fear 3-pack. And finally we have him standing next to the McFarlane Hal Jordan Parallax figure and the Blackest Night Build-A-Figure Atrocitus. Alright, so I think that's going to be about it for today. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Action Figure This Out, where we took a look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Hazmat Batman from the Amazovirus. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews of your favorite action figures as well. Don't hesitate to leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Smash that notification bell to be notified of future videos that I'll be coming out with, and stay tuned for the next review. Again, this is Herrick from Action Figure This Out, signing off.